Hey everyone, I'm back, and today we're going to be talking about Identity, and this movie is directed by James Mangold, and it came out in 2003, and I've seen this movie before, and I didn't like it at all back then, and to be honest, I really hated it, and rewatching it, I enjoyed it more, but I still didn't like it, unfortunately. And what kept me from liking this movie was just, you might consider this an unfair criticism, but I really just think the concept is really stupid, and what the movie goes for is just not for me. And I didn't find any of the characters likable or interesting. And while I liked the performances, no one stood out to me as bad. There just wasn't anything that stood out to me as exceptional. And this movie is kind of building to something, and I kind of like the build, but eventually there's a twist in the movie, which I can't talk about, and once it happens, it's like the dumbest thing in the world, and it just doesn't make any sense, and to some extent it can make sense within the context of what's happening, but unfortunately, just thinking about it, like, if it wasn't in the context of this movie and you just watched it without any context, it is so goofy, and there are parts of this movie that made me laugh unintentionally, and this is a very serious film, and I just thought it was kind of goofy. This movie is only 90 minutes long, and yet it feels as though everything is underdeveloped and not very interesting, and all it develops is everything you would need to sell this movie conceptually. But in execution, there's really just isn't anything here. And you could make this movie longer, up to like 2 hours, 2 hours, 15 minutes, and really develop everything and flesh everything out. Maybe it would be improved if you would do that. But what we're left with is a movie that just happened, and this movie plays itself pretty straight, and it does play itself like a horror movie where like characters are dying one by one, and the blood and violence of the movie was kind of dull and boring, and when it wasn't that, it was just bizarrely comical to me, like I kind of said already, but never really said anything specific. But the violence in this movie is ridiculous, and I just couldn't take it seriously because of how it was executed. I did not like the music in the movie. I thought it added nothing to the film, and it was very distracting for me, and it never complemented the tone of the film, which is a big problem for me. And if we're going to talk about my own personal enjoyment while watching this movie, most of the film is just a little boring to me, not super interesting, but nothing offensive. But once we get to the ending of the movie, that's when it gets really bad for me, and it ruined everything, and I was laughing because I just thought it was stupid. And that's literally all I have to say about Identity. There isn't really much to talk about. Even if I were to spoil the movie, which I easily can because I don't recommend this movie to anyone, but let's say if I were to spoil it, I would only have a couple more things to say about it, and most of it is just a kind of dull, a little bland, and nothing special at all. And when it isn't bland, it's funny bad, and I just cannot recommend this movie. I would never rewatch this movie because the funny bad moments are too spread out to make me want to revisit this movie. And that's another thing about the movie. If this movie was funny bad throughout, I could easily rewatch this movie. I would be happy to come back to this movie any day, anytime, but that didn't happen. So what we're left with is a bad movie with a few moments that I find amusing at times. And with all that being said, I'm going to give Identity a 4 out of 10. Thank you for watching my videos as always. If you enjoyed this review, be sure to leave a like and comment down below what you thought of Identity, and my social media links, they will all be in the description, so follow me there. And last but not least, subscribe to be a part of Foley Nation, and I'll see you when I get my next review up, and that is going to be for The Last Samurai. So look forward to that, but until I get that up, Thank you for watching and have a great day.